Okay, well, it looks like we're on, so that's a good thing. Um, well, first, I want to introduce myself. Hi, this is my new channel that I've just started. It's called Leela Speaks. Um, it's kind of been a long time in the making. Not as far as being on camera, but I've been writing for oh gosh, so many years that it's just kind of been one of those things that's a part of my life. Um, and due to some unforeseen events recently, starting about 2 years ago, things really started to hype up, and I don't mean in like a mystical or spiritual way. That situation has always kind of played itself out. um, Once we get more acquainted, I'd love to share more about the things that I've been through, and the reasons why I feel it's very important for me to release this information that I basically have been keeping to myself, outside of like a couple people over the years. I think we all kind of know that when you're an outlier and you're into different types of spirituality that either scare people, go against the norm, are taboos, or your family in general just will be like very upset with you if you even try to formulate your own ideas and ask questions and basically just trying to form your own conclusions about the nature of reality, um, a lot of things that are going on in the paranormal world, but also the things that since the beginning of time we've, as humans, have been debating. Um, Philosophy, science, astronomy, astrology, like all these things that scientists have kind of brushed off for a little bit and are now starting to take a lot more seriously, now that they've had to. Um, Ever since the World Wide Web came out, and that's a really weird way to say that. Like, I'm not 85, but ever since the internet became prominent, um, it's really allowed for people that are really into taking like a deep journey into the cosmos. Um, every this is like a cliche at this point, but as above, so below. And when I heard that for the first time, it was probably about 15, yeah, about 15 years ago, and it seemed like a very simplified version of what I seemed to be going through. There were constant questions. I started off, well, I was born into a Christian family. Not only like a Christian family, but a very abusive and abusive, neglectful, poor. And I think anybody who has walked down a similar path kind of understands that to us, these sort of questions are even more forbidden because we're supposed to be good little workers and sit at your desk and stop moving and stop asking questions and stop bothering your teachers. And then you have the majority of like your classmates, at least this was my experience, that I couldn't relate to at all. So not only was I like alienated in every sense of the word, because I didn't have really anyone to go to that could answer or wanted to answer any of the questions that I had, but also with them at the time being very Christian, it was the big thing was, you just have to have faith, Chelsea. What's wrong with you? Why can't you have faith? If you had faith, everything would be better. And it's been, my God, I don't even remember how long it's been since the first time I was told that. And I'm not, and I don't mean within like a school context or in church. I mean my own family kind of belittling me and just, you get that sense of, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you like us? Why do you always need to know these things? Why can't you just believe? And for me, I think there must be some sort of like predisposal to that, because over the years I sincerely gave it my all in many different time periods, because when you are dealing with parents that are either like very neglectful, or you're dealing with a single mom, so maybe she has 3 jobs and you never see her, and you're very poor and you're living in the single, I forgot what we call them up there. I'm from New Hampshire, but we used to call them like the single mom flats, because there wasn't a man to be found in any of these circles, unless it was like a random drug dealer of like one of the mothers. And then of course, like, you're not going to go to them with these questions. I must say that I am more lucky than others, because I did have a grandmother and a grandfather that, when I did get to see them, although my grandmother was religious and really did not want to talk about anything that had to do with questioning the Bible, God, Jesus, any of these things, I still knew that she loved me, and I felt her genuine worry for me. When you're a child, And I think that a lot of adults are unaware of this, but some of my first memories were around 1 years old. Granted, these were like very, maybe one or two and very vague. It was mainly just of the house with my great great grandmother. It was one of the happiest times of my life because Nana was her name. She was my great great grandmother, and she at the time was the matriarch of our family. And although my mom had me out of wedlock, with with her, I guess you could call fiance, and they were high school sweethearts. So it wasn't as bad as some other circumstances. I think that like if she just met some random person, but that also created a lot of problems. And before I even had a chance to know who my father was or understand even what a dad was, my mom picked us up and moved away from Denver. And my Nana, who was like that stabilizing force in my life, she in a lot of ways saved my life during that time frame. Not long after that, me and my mother moved to New Hampshire, where my grandfather, who I found out later in life was not my biological grandfather, but he is, like, out of all my family that is still alive, he is my hero. He's saved my life. If I wouldn't have had him and my grandmother and my Nana, I'm like, I just have no idea where I would be. Things were just so out of control, and there was never any stability, and the violence was so intense that it was just a really, really hard time in life. Around that time, I started having really bad insomnia. I was about 2 or 3. On top of that, I was seeing things, and looking back at that, was I really seeing things, or was I a traumatized little girl with no mom or dad in the house looking after me? My mom, she always worked a minimum of 2 jobs, plus, like, whatever government assistance she got. So before my sister was born, it was just me. So, I get like a kiss in the morning, and my mom would be gone all day, all night. There were a few times, like, I went to babysitters, but I was always so terrified of being around these people that I'd much rather have stayed home without whether we had electricity, whether we had no food. And when I mean no food, I'm not talking about like, oh, we had peanut butter and jelly. It's like, I remember so many times I'd have to like scoot over a chair to the um, cabinet to be able to um, see if there was any like old spaghetti that I could eat. At that point, I was like too young probably to figure out, or definitely too young to figure out how to like make an entire meal, whether that be just like throw something in like hot water. And then eventually my mom would get home and like she worked at a donut shop sometimes and she'd bring like a donut or but it was just it was a very, very lonely time. I was basically like, I mean, I wouldn't say I was totally wild and wasn't able to like use spoons. I mean, like it wasn't to that extreme because there were times here and there that that my grandparents would take me, and that's kind of when I was taught to be socialized. Anything outside of that was it was a living hell because it was either, you know, alone in a house. We lived in New Hampshire, so it was freezing half the time. The lights weren't on half the time. We're being evicted. And I was always hungry. I didn't have like even a jacket to wear for winter. So it was just like a super hard existence. Now, with all this being said, I really want to make this abundantly clear. I'm not saying these things to hurt anyone. I'm not saying these things to shame anyone or to feel bad for myself. The reason why I've decided that I'm like, okay, it's time to like step up and release some of these stories. Oh my God. I mean, I could talk for probably 30 hours. The stuff that I've seen, the stuff that I've been through. Again, so many of us, especially like those of us that have either grown up with single moms, or maybe we had our fathers, but they may have been so brutal and so detrimental that it almost seems like it would have been better if for myself, I'm saying that I never met my father. So yeah, I think as we move forward, I would like to do more scripted versions of almost like a scripted timeline and I'll go over like the most radical, but also things that we can all draw upon and hopefully put an end to some of these things that I know for a fact are still going on. I have just a quick note. My mom started taking me to the doctor at a fairly young age. I would have to like ask her again, but I would say about 3 years old. The insomnia had gotten so bad that she really didn't know what to do. The doctor told her, well, just get her like a little television and maybe, that will help. So when you leave at night, she will fall asleep to, I think Sesame Street is like the DVD that I had. I guess it wouldn't have been a DVD, VHS that I had. But now that I look back, I think if, like, I could go back in time, if I could truly speak for myself, and if I would have been courageous enough to do these things, and I asked to go live with my mama and papa, oh, what a life I would have now. You know how you can see the good things in yourself? And when I say good, I don't mean like conventionally good, like I'm religious, I'm married, I'm straight, whatever those things. I don't mean conventionally good. I mean the type of person that would take their shirt off their back and give it to you, and you know that this person would do that. That's just one example. There's so many more examples that I could keep moving forward with, but I don't want to bore anyone, and I just hope that before I leave this earth, pardon me, okay. My thing is, I hope before I leave this earth that it wasn't all for nothing. All the pain and all the suffering in the years of like suicidal ideation and being in and out of the hospital. And I know a lot of you right away are gonna be like, okay, this girl is pathetic, like you should never do that. It's an easy way out. The list goes on. If you've ever truly dealt with complex PTSD, generalized anxiety, suicidal ideation, and generally just lost and wondering why you're here, I don't blame you. And I would never judge you. Everybody deals with things their own way. And this is my way. It's what scares me more than anything is not finishing the fiction and non-fiction books that I've been writing over the years. And yes, I'm a coward for it. Before, I couldn't even write a sentence without having to either like drink beer or have a shot, because the memories were so profound. It's like you're reliving them again, and it's so traumatizing. And for people that haven't experienced these things, then I don't know how else to explain it to you, but like with this really funny antidote. Have you guys ever seen Groundhog's Day? I was like a little kid, a super little kid, but it's about this guy that's kind of an asshole, and he keeps having to relive a single day over and over and over and over. And it gets to the point where he's like, okay, there's no way out but to kill himself. So once he starts going down that route, not even in, like, not even did he have a choice to make that decision anymore. And that's what's like always terrified me, is that one, I won't get these things finished that need to be released. And when I'm talking about like these writings, it's not like a boo-hoo, my life was so horrible, everybody has like abandoned me and ruined my life, and etc., etc. It's about being an outsider all of your life, and trying to overcome what it means to be an outlier in society and be okay with it and move forward. We could go into this a lot more. It's much deeper, but I just wanted to throw that out there because I'm not really big into listening to others' troubles and negativities and things of that nature. But I feel like if I do not give you like a background on why I'm doing this, it'd be a lot harder for you to understand where I'm coming from and why I am you. And vice versa. I'm you, you're me. I would love for things to change. And as a matter of fact, I still have a sliver of hope. Who knows what will happen? Who knows what will come from this? I may die in obscurity and no one watches the videos, and I don't release my papers, and that's it. And then I end up underneath a tree somewhere, or I end up with Odin and Freya, or maybe even Satan, who knows? The point is, I would love for all of us to speak on the things that we're going through, and I hope with my knowledge in the occult, the esoteric, I'm a highly spiritual person, and I literally have been, I hate that word, I've been studying for so many years. And although studying, you know, anyone can study, it's when you take that knowledge and turn it into a practice that things start to change. And I think I might not be the one to make it that far, but I do have the knowledge, and I do have the willpower to help as many people as I can before it's too late. And I think at this point, this is, it's been about 30 minutes, so I really hope that helps someone around, someone that's in a similar situation, and let's keep doing more of these. Like I said, I want to start moving into some more scripted videos. I don't think I'm very good at like free talking. I've always been really camera shy and don't like taking photos and kind of, yeah, just shy in general. So I'm hoping that will help. Any feedback that you guys can give would be amazing. I'm very much open to criticism. Anything I can do to be better is greatly appreciated. Thank you guys. I hope you subscribe and have a wonderful week coming up. Take care.